Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I'm just sitting here doing a little bit of knitting. It's a really miserable, dark, wet and windy day. I've got the light on in my living room. So there's nothing else you can be doing really for days like this. It's just to be sitting and knitting. Well, I was watching some little videos before that, catching up with some of my, other subscribers that put videos up in that, just to see what they've been up to. And I was checking, it was Patsy's from Patsy's Crochet, and she had a little video up where she was doing it, like what she called a little project bag. It's our called a little bag for keeping little bits and pieces in. And it just reminded me, I've done one or two like that, so I think I'm going to show you some of the things that are probably little videos amongst all my videos of when I've been doing these, but I'm going to show you them all together to just to show you the kind of thing you can do with little odds of ends of wool that you've got left over from things you've been doing, knitting and that. So I'm just going to finish this row, what I'm doing first before I put the knitting down. Oh, and I can hear a rumble out there. It sounded like thunder in the distance. Oh, it's really very bad, unless it's a train coming along. I've got trains going along that past my back garden because I've got a railway line. It could be the train going past, I've maybe heard. Because we do get one or two of those go along. Not as many as when I first moved here. I had a dog. He was a cross collie, and he used to be all over this house. It took him weeks to get used to the noise because the trains were coming past day and night, and he was wandering around this house all the time. And he knew how to open the bedroom doors, and he was coming in and jumping on our bed and trying to get us out of bed. And we were telling him it's the middle of the night. It's a train going past, man. Go back to sleep. Took him a little while, but he got used to it and settled down after a while. But I was just thinking with watching what Patsy was doing, and I thought, oh, I could show you a little, just to make a little video to keep my videos going every day. To show you some of the little things all in one video, what I've been doing with my bits and pieces. And I'm just about finished this row now. It. Put it down now, and I didn't want to stop in the middle of the row because this is that 53-inch cardigan I'm doing. I'm actually onto the sleeve, this part the way up the sleeve, so not be long before that's finished. Well, the first thing I started off with, what Patsy was doing, I think she said it was for to keep her crochet hooks in. But I think she might have to do what I've done with this one. I'll probably put a little comment on and tell her what she might have to do with this one. This was a little bag that I crocheted. This was some machine knitting yarn I had left over, and it was very fine. It was like thread. And I crocheted was probably about 5 or 6 strands of it together to make this little bag. And I have got my crochet hooks in it. And I've got a zip on it, but I didn't put the zip on until afterwards. But when I made it, I said to myself, I'm going to have to put a lining in this because this is the crochet hooks just go straight through it. So that's what I've got all. I've got little bits, I've got crochet hooks, got a little pair of scissors, got my little needle gauge for my knitting needles to check the sizes. Little cable needles, different cable needles I've got there, and lots of crochet hooks. Yes, all size crochet hooks. I've got some crochet hooks in here that are like needles actually. I don't think I'll ever get round to using them again. And this thimble. This was my mother's thimble. I found it in a, after she died, I got one or two of her things, and hers was a sewn box, which I loved. And this thimble was in amongst the other things. This comes in very handy when you're sewing sometime and you can't get the needle to go through. The thimble helps you to push it through. But I had to put the lining inside of my bag. And this was just an old piece of material off a pair of jeans. I had cut off the bottom of a pair of jeans. And it's I'm waste not, want not. And it came in very handy, that little bit of material. So I'll put all my junk, as I call it, back in this little bag. And it comes in very handy for all the crochet hooks and all the other bits and pieces that I've got. Well, I usually have there's a little tape measure as well, one of those ones, you know, you pull out. Keep that in there as well. And it's just the right size, and then I can zip it up. So that's my little bag. And my crochet hook, a little bit different to yours, Patsy. I think you're putting a drawstring on the top. And then with that same wool that I had left over, I made this, crocheted this. And I never did any joins. I just started the chain off and just kept going round and round and round. That was the same with this bag. I never joined it. I just started off with a chain and crocheted around that chain, around the whole chain, just kept going round and round and round. So I had no seams or anything. I just had to put the lining inside it and stitch the zip onto it. And it's the same with the bag for my knitting needles. I just started off with a chain at the bottom and just kept going round and round and round. I made it a little bit wider on the bottom, so for the needles, you know, that's what we're going into it. I went round and round and round, and when I finished it, I put a lining inside this as well. You probably can't see, but it's got all my knitting needles. Get them all out. It's all my different knitting needles and that I use for all different sizes, and this, may hard to tell because it's long, but I had to turn it inside out and put a lining inside of this, and that was just a piece of some curtain material that I had left over from some curtains that I had made, and there was a little bit material left over, and that came in very handy, and I made a loop. Made, you know, like a peak on here and brought it to the end, made a loop on the end, and then put a button in, and then that button the loop goes over the button, and that's a handy little bag for my knitting needles from some leftover old machine knitting wool. There's back in there. I'm sticking the needles up my arms now. And that's very handy, because I did have an old bag for it, but it was dropping to bits. It was material, and it had plastic, you know, that plastic stuff inside, and that was all torn and that. So that was handy. And another little thing I made was this. I saw this, I think it was Jade Erin Stitches on her channel. I think she was showing how to make this. She called it a washcloth, and it was a hand mitt, and I think she used thicker yarn than I did, but I had just some odd bits of double knitting. I think it was a bit blue, lemon and a bit white. So I used a bit blue and white for one side and a bit lemon and white for the other, and then just crocheted around the ends to instead of sewing them, you know, just crocheted around the ends. And I thought it was, you know, pretty handy. It would be good in the shower. Only thing, when it got wet, fingers went through the holes in the stitching. So that's why I think when Jada made hers, I think hers was thicker a lot thicker than what mine was. But hey, it's a great little duster. It goes great over your furniture and on your hand. That come in handy for that. So that's another little bit of waste yarn that I used up. Come in handy for. And then they were all crocheted. This was crocheted as well. I've just been upstairs and got this out of my cupboard. The last time I used it was when I went on holiday last September to Corfu, and it's a toiletry bag. I started a circle for the bottom, and this again I just went round and round and round, just crocheted round and round, and got to the top and put some string in to make a drawstring into it. And when I picked it up and I put my nose, oh, the lovely smell inside here. I can still smell all the perfumes and the soaps and everything that was inside it. So that was another little job with waste knitting machine material, knitting machine wool. That come in very handy as well. And then the last thing, this is actually knitted. I knit this, it's a peg bag. I just knitted garter stitch, and this is just a little bit of an old hanger. Look, I snapped the ends off to make it fit on the in the bag. The little bit there sticks through the holes in that, but got all my pegs in, very handy. And I just kept on working, you know, around to this, and then shaped the top a little bit. Take that button off. And I just kept shaping the top until I had this little bit here for to fasten to the button. It's not great, but it does the job. It hangs on my line. I don't have to keep bending down to get the pegs out the bucket anymore. So that's a little bit of what you can use your waste yarn up on for a little odds and ends that come in handy. And they do come in handy for me, for what I've done. So, thank you, Patsy, for showing that little video you done. You just gave me an idea to do another video, just to keep my videos going every day. I can't keep telling you little stories every day or I'll start running out of them. But I'll tell you another little story another day. So, that's my little bit for today. So, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll let you see any more when I get round to it. So bye for now.